Well, I often make resin bowls, and they're usually the Freeform bowls, and I made one quite a while back and put a video out on it. Well, I recently found some footage that I hadn't realised I had, and I didn't put it in the first video. I don't know why, perhaps I didn't know where it was. So now I've found it, what I've done is I've re-edited this video for you so you can see the absolute disaster that happens when I make the first bowl. I think this is a great learning curve as well for anybody to see that even those people like myself who use resin all the time can still make mistakes. So I hope you enjoyed this video and learn a lot from this video and enjoy the hilarious disaster that happens as well with the first bowl. I've got one of my pictures that I drew, and I've also got this bit of plastic. It's actually a plastic tablecloth, and I use these quite often. I will link everything that I use in the description below, so don't worry about that. You'll be able to find it there. Now, what I want to do is go around this using Posca pens and similar types of acrylic pens, and then fill it all in, do a pour over it, and see if that will absorb into that when I then mould it over whatever I'm going to mould it over. And all I'm going to do is go around the outline and then colour them in. And they're fairly easy to colour them in. So I'm going to do an outline first using these Posca pens because I like to have an outline. These aren't actually Posca pens, these ones. These are just an acrylic paint pen. Now, I've done this type of thing before where I've used pens like this and then transferred it over, but I've never done it on a bowl. The great thing about it is if you do make a mistake, once it's dry, then you can just take a baby wipe and take that mistake off and then redo it again afterwards. So going around all these outlines, and then once I've gone around and done all the outlines, I will let you know how to put the colours in so that you get a bit of different colour coming through rather than just one block colour. Because if you remember, you'll have the front bit, which is what you're drawing on, will actually be the face because you'll put it over like that. So I'll carry on, do these outlines, and then I'll come back and show you how I'm going to colour it in. That's all finished with the outline now, and it was really quite easy to do, just to trace through there. What I'm going to do is let that dry up for a little bit, because it's going to take about 5-10 minutes to fully dry. And then what I will do is I will go through with my colours. Now, I'm going to use some quite bright colours. They're probably not even going to be anything related to the colours that are in the real flowers, but there we go, who cares? And unfortunately, my pens don't seem to have the name of the colour on them, and I'm on my own today, so I can't even ask anyone. So I have no idea if I'll be doing them greens or what I'll be doing, to be perfectly honest, but we will see. The important thing is, because I'm doing this with clear resin, what'll happen is if I put a mark on there, so for instance, I'm going to put some yellow there. Well, that is the yellow that is going to show on the inside. But with these pens, if I wanted a darker colour over that, I would have to allow that to dry and then put the colour on the top as well. Because that way you'll see it from the inside where I've done these black marks, but you'll also see it from the outside of the bowl because I'll add some additional black marks over it as well. I'll show you a bit more once this is dry. Well, this is all nice and dry now, so I'm ready to put on my other colours. And as I said, I've got the black lines here, so if I quickly go over those without starting them off, then what'll happen is those black lines will still show under there. Now, I'm not very good at keeping in the lines, as you know, because I've got a tremor, and it does help with drawing the leaves and things because you don't get really solid looking leaves. You do get a nice kind of texture to them. Now, you can put a bit of texture into these leaves by using different types of stroke like I'm doing here, and having it thicker in one area than another. So what I'll do is I'll carry on doing these leaves, and then I'll show you how I'm going to put some different texture and different tones in there. Well, I've finished colouring that in now, and I'm really pleased with how it's come out. I think it looks quite nice that side, and it also looks equally as nice that side. So depending on how well it soaks into the resin will determine what the final look is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this probably now an hour or so to make sure it's completely dry, and then I'll pour the resin over it. Before you pour any resin, make sure that you create like a little well or almost like a dam around the edge of your silicone mat, and that will give you a nice depth to your resin without it running all off over the floor and everywhere, because you don't want your resin too thin when you're making something like this, because if it's too thin, what will happen is it won't cure up properly because there is not enough depth of resin for the exothermic reaction. I would like to just say a quick thank you to all my members whose names are coming up now, and if you'd like to become a member of my channel, then the link for that is in the description below, and there are lots of additional perks and a great private community that we have, as well as some other additional tutorials for members only. Link in the description below. So ensuring everywhere is completely covered and filled up. Now, depending on which resin you use and the temperature in where you're doing it, and how long you pour it, it depends on when it's going to be ready to actually mold over. You don't want it to be too runny so that when you do mold it over, it all just runs down the sides, runs off, and doesn't create any depth of bowl, because that isn't going to give you a really good result. I check mine every hour or 2 hours, and then when I feel it's at the right consistency, which is a really quite a thick toffee consistency, then I will then drape it over whatever I'm using to mold it. And in this case, I'm using just a piece of drain pipe with a silicone jug attached to it. I've used this many times to make bowls, and I love the effect that it gives. Now, the other thing is, if you want your sides, once you've got the rough shape that you want, to be a little bit more splayed out and be a little bit more of an open bowl, then what I use is just some crumpled up kitchen roll to allow me to keep those out. I love revealing my secrets, and I do genuinely believe that this is the easiest way to transfer your own images into resin. So once I've done that, I'm happy with it, I'll let it cure overnight. The bowl's all set up now, as you can hear, and it should come off there quite easily. Now, the interesting thing is to see, oh, I love the shape that it's come out. I'm going to get rid of these. I don't like these sharp bits, and you often get those, and all I will do with those is I will use my deburring tool to get rid of those, and then go around the whole of the edge of the bowl with some UV resin, and that should get rid of it. So the real interesting thing is going to be to see not how easy this comes off, because I know this comes off really easily. The interesting thing is going to see if the pattern is there. Well, it's looking as if it is. And I won't throw this away, because all I need to do is give that a quick wipe over with a little bit of alcohol, and that will be ready to be used again. There we go. So the bowl has come out really, really well. I'm going to trim these edges up, and then I'll show you it when it's finished. So I need to come clean on something. This isn't the first one that I did. Now, the first one that I did, I absolutely messed up due to my own impatience and silliness. So this is what happens when you get too impatient and you try and drape it over too early because you want to go to bed. And it kind of just runs off and gets really, really thin. So this is absolutely no good. It's never going to turn into a bowl. So I need to just take it off. But it's a good lesson to learn. Sometimes you can't be impatient with a resin. But I knew it needed longer. I knew it needed another probably couple of hours before I even attempted to turn it into a bowl. But I thought, no, I know better. And evidently, clearly, I didn't. And the thing is, what happened was, because it's so thin, it didn't cure because the exothermic reaction isn't there. What it will do is, it will clean my mat nicely, look. Well, I waste the resin and breaks my heart. But as you can see, we all make mistakes, and even those of us who've got lots of experience with resin still get impatient and still get sometimes bad results, but always learn from it. It definitely goes to show you can get some great effects using Posca pens or something similar. I'm really pleased with how that's come out. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. The bowl was a success in the end. It is so easy to transfer your own designs from paper to your resin and then make a resin bowl, as long as you don't try and rush things and go to bed a bit earlier than you had planned. Be sure to check out the video that I've got coming up next. I think you'll really enjoy that one, especially if you struggle with making resin blooms, because this is an easy way to get them to work for you. And it goes through some of the things that can cause mistakes. Boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, but most of all, Enjoy your resin. Take care. Bye.